So welcome, guys, to Late Nights with Calvin and Ty. Ty, would you like to introduce yourself?
What are you saying, guys? You alright?
So let's just get right into it. Today we're
Okay.
talking about BLM. Obviously, right now everything's a bit crazy. Is there a reason you're kind of moving like that, Ty? Was it? Like, for the people who can't see the camera, it'll be on YouTube, but what are you wearing there, Ty?
What am I wearing?
What are you wearing?
Oh, this thing basically is like some comfortable blanket hoodie thing.
Okay, we can stop that. I obviously me and Ty we're gonna put a little podcast voice, late night. But yeah, so how you doing, Ty?
I'm good still. Same old.
Jump right into it.
Yeah,
BLM. What's your opinion straight off the bat?
Straight off the bat, I think some people are jokers.
Jokers.
Yeah.
The people are protesting. The people are
rioting.
Nah.
I think I'll say it straight before people start coming for my neck and cancel culture and all that.
What have they got to cancel?
Listen, they might just come for my neck, innit?
All right. Carry on.
These people that are jumping on BLM movement, but as a trend, they're not taking it serious. They're just
is it still a trend?
It shouldn't be a trend to begin with.
But is it a trend now? You're saying people are jumping on it. Is it a trend?
I don't know. I think
and
it's
what
still
about it? It's trending.
Viable. It's just people are like, oh, this is my chance to get clout and stuff like that.
Is that a problem though?
I think it is, yeah.
Why? If they're only getting clout because of their color for a long time, why is it a problem?
No, not for their color,
now?
for using the movement to gain clout.
Could you give us an example?
So, let's say, let's say a white person or even a black person just posting things just about the BLM movement, but they don't actually care about it. They just want it to be clout, to gain a following of people, or to gain I don't know, to gain.
Can you argue that's supporting the people? That's supporting the movement because they might be using it for their own personal selfishness, but that's pushing it out to more people.
Not always, no.
Is it not? So how are they getting clout from it then?
No, but it's your intent, isn't it?
But that's not, I'm not talking about their intent. Yeah, they're using it for their own selfish reasons, but if they're reaching out to more people, that's sharing the protest more, no?
It depends. If on socials, you can class it as that. But let's say, I don't know, in person, if you're saying, oh, Black Lives Matter, da, da, da. But, sometimes it gets to a point where you're just saying it for the fun of it now.
But then again, isn't that letting more people know?
No, because sometimes in person, how do I say? If every time you walked into a room with non-Black people, everyone was like, oh, Black Lives Matter, would you not, to a certain point, would you not be like, all right, chill,
Oh, it depends on the person. If they're supporting the movement, they're supporting the movement. They might not support it how we want them to support it, but they might support for their own reasons. But my personal opinion is any kind of support is good support, whether it's from Black, white, Mexican. If you're using it for clout, use it for clout. Use this opportunity. At the end of the day, when's the next time we're going to be able to be saying it every single day? Because once it falls off, it will fall off like most things. So if people want to use it for clout,
it shouldn't fall off though.
It shouldn't fall off, no, but it's going to.
And yeah, that's problems, isn't it?
That's it. But then it's going to go on for longer if people like that keep pushing it, no? If it is a trend and people think it's cool to be Black Lives Matter.
That's okay, no, because if people think it's cool, when the protests die down and stuff, then people would be like, oh no, I don't want that. Let me jump onto the next trend. Do you get what I mean?
But then while people are doing this, oh, it's cool to be it, that's going to prolong how cool it is, no?
No, it won't. Because these people aren't the people that are keeping it alive. These people are the ones that are using it they're like leeches. They suck it while it's there, and then when there's nothing there for them left to suck, and they move on. They're on to the next thing. So then while you've got the actual people still sitting there going, Black Lives Matter, we want justice, we want equality and stuff. The other people that were screaming it, they're on to the next thing, oh, the lockdown, post things about the lockdown. But this Black Lives Matter is still relevant, but you just don't care. You're on to the next. So it's us fighting to keep it alive.
So you saying leeches help in no way?
they help in a certain way. Yeah, they do help, but you know, I feel like the same way it helps, the same way it destroys it.
Can you explain?
So like as we just said, like fair enough, they're there and they push it around everywhere, even if it's for their own, you know, personal gain and stuff. So obviously, yeah, it pushes out to many people, even if they don't mean it. But at the same time, if they just stop altogether and start jumping onto something else, then there's no one else to, you know, push it out to however many people around the world anymore. If you get what I mean.
So have you ever done that?
Have I ever done what?
Have you ever thought of something, done something for a trend, and once it's gone, leave it?
Yeah.
And when you were doing that, were you promoting the trend at the time?
Yeah, but my ones were nothing to do like this. My one were more like, obviously I'm interested in music in it. So when new music challenges come up, I jump on that. I jump on that challenge, and that challenge sets a trend for a long time. Then I jump into the next challenge. You know, I like, how do I say it?
So let me ask you this: if the trend went on for longer, do you think the person who started the trend would care that you just
What do
want
you
to
mean?
do it for your own selfish reasons? So right now, obviously, the date is, let's say, Thursday, the 10th of September.
Yeah,
I don't know. You're obviously Ty's a fan of Jill. I'm a fan of Jill. You know, AM and Skengdo from
yeah.
410. Right now, he's doing "I'm Not a Yardie" challenge, right?
Oh yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think if I wanted to do that to increase my following, and I just do it, like do the challenge, he's going to care that I want to do that to increase my following?
No,
So then, why is it different for the movement?
because it's okay. How would I say it? It doesn't affect. It's like it's not. It doesn't affect if you. Okay, here we go. So if you jump on it, you do it, yeah.
Hmm.
And let's say, and then
So
after that, you carry on
let's use a
doing it
real life
yourself.
example. I want to be trendy, so
Yeah,
I post a black picture saying Black Lives Matter.
yeah,
And when I go around every now and then, I'll say Black Power.
yeah.
Am I a problem?
I never said problem.
You said you don't support the leeches. They don't help. So making me a
I
problem.
don't support them.
So that means I'm a problem then.
I have a problem with you. Like you're not a problem per se, but I have a problem with you. Yeah, for being a leech. Yeah,
So a leech is not a problem. You just have a problem with leeches.
I have a problem with leeches. Yeah,
So then going back saying, so it's fine what they're doing then. So you just have a problem with what they're doing.
yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with what they're doing then.
To a certain extent.
But then who are they hurting?
They plenty of people deep down, people feel offended by what they're doing because they're just jumping from thing to thing and they're not actually caring about, or they don't care and they have no knowledge about what they're actually talking about.
So that would make them a problem.
Yeah,
But you
but this is
just
what this are they're a problem to me. Yeah, they're a problem to me, but I can't then go and talk on other people's behalfs
mm-hmm.
because the next black person you might talk to, or you yourself may not see them as a problem. Do you see what I mean? So I can only talk from a personally, I have a problem with them because to a certain extent, yes, you may help us, but it depends on how you're actually going about it, because how you go about it could end up offending the person that you're trying to help.
That's fine. I understand. Not to get a bit defensive, Ty. I was just trying to see if I can pick some holes in your logic. But that's all right. That's all right. I understand. So it's more of just in your personal perception, you just don't think they help a lot because they just take what they can take and then move on to the next thing. Personally, I would
That's just
say
my perspective.
I don't think leeches are all bad. At the end of the day, they do spread the word further. I think the leeches get bad, like when you said about, when the trend's over. Like right now, Black Lives Matter isn't as big as it is, so they're not getting as much followers and clout as they would. So maybe they're not paying as much attention onto it. But I do think leeches are needed to a point because they help get the word more out there. Because I remember seeing a post the other day. It was about this person who was like pretending to be part of the march, and then she kind of took like a picture of herself to post on Instagram, obviously. And then once she was done, she was just walking away. So that, although I don't like that, at the end of the day, you need as much attention as possible. Because in this world, in our generation, at our time, attention is key when it comes to most things. And that's the only reason
I get
those
that,
things
but look, you
change.
have to look at that from the other point. You just said she took the picture and walked away, yeah?
Mm.
So let's say she posted that on socials and people like meme pages and Black Lives Matter pages shared that. Look, was she white? Was she a white woman?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, look, this white woman's at a march. She supports Black Lives Matter. People are liking it. They're like, calm. She supports us. She supports us. But then let's say someone films her taking a picture walking away. They
They
post
did.
that. There
They
you
did.
go. Then that gets shared around. Then her picture of taking it is completely irrelevant now. That support's gone out the window because they're like, she doesn't actually support us. She just come and she walked away. Then people are going to get onto her and, you know, come for her neck and be like, listen, like, you don't actually care about us. You was just here for your own selfish reasons. And then that outweighs it. So her support goes out the window.
So notice I didn't say I'm here for support. I said I'm there for the reach. The people
But
she
even
can...
that, it goes out the window because she
Does
doesn't
it go out
care.
the window?
It
Because
does.
people are going to be more... She has her own friendship group, has her own reach that can reach more people. Yes, she may not be doing it for the right reasons, but they're going to know about it. And
No,
if you...
but
And
then
like you said,
the same
if you
people that
said...
it reached,
Yeah.
well, the same people that her picture reached will be the same people that the video of her leaving the march reaches.
So yeah, so if you go and then if she gets run through the ground for what she did, doesn't that flip it better on the Black Lives Matter, saying if you're going to be a leech, do it properly and actually mean what you're doing? No.
But no, don't be a leech, innit? If you're gonna follow it, actually follow
Okay,
it
so
for a
let me ask,
reason.
let's ask you, if you had someone who was not an influencer, who was an influencer, the non-influencer cared about Black Lives Matter, they were only reaching
Yeah,
10 people. The
yeah.
influencer came to that non-influencer and said, if you pay me £5,000, I'll post a picture of you on Black Lives Matter. Would you say no or yes to that for that person to take the deal?
You'll say yes, 100%. But then it depends on who you are.
So why would you say yes?
You'd say yes, obviously, as you said, the reach. The reach is there. Instead of reaching 10 people, you can reach 1,000,000 people.
So does it matter that that person does not believe what they're taking a picture for? Or is it the voice getting out there is more important than them not really
It's a
caring?
mixture of both. You can't say one's more important than the other.
So everything you've done in your life up to today, you've always cared about and you've always believed.
The major things, yeah.
I didn't say major, I said everything.
No.
So then why are you different from them?
Because I'm not most things I do aren't for my own personal gain. I just do things.
But you do things for your own personal gain.
And the personal gain, the things that are personal gain aren't major things. Like if I jump on a music challenge, or as you said, I'm a Yardie challenge, it's not for my personal gain. It's just, you know, I wanted to do it, pushed it out there. Wasn't if it comes back with, you know, one person viewed it, or it comes back with 1,000 people viewed it, it's not gonna it won't change me.
If that person was a normal person, a nice person, and that was the only thing they kind of did do for their personal gain, would that excuse it?
What?
If that was the only thing they did for their personal gain? Because you said you don't normally do things for your personal gain. So if that was the only thing they did for their personal gain,
Or what, turned up and then left?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because that's a major thing. That's a whole movement to, you know, for that black people are fighting for. Well, not even just black people, sorry. It's a whole movement that the minority races are fighting for.
What do you
Because
value
Black Lives
more?
Matter. What?
What do you value more, reach or meaning?
Meaning?
So if 10 people hear about it and it's what you want, you'd rather that than 1,000 people hear about it.
I would rather if I was turning up to do a march, yeah, Black Lives Matter protest march, and everyone's holding black power signs and stuff, I would rather 10 people turn up that actually like feel what I'm feeling, and they're turning up because they actually, you know, there's a meaning for them to be there, there's a reason. I'd rather that than 200 people that are just there because they thought it would be cool to do.
What do you think would get more attention?
Either or. It could be either or of them.
What do you think would get more attention?
No, in numbers, 200 people, obviously, because it's a bigger march.
And Black Lives Matter, does Black Lives Matter need attention or does it need meaning more?
It needs meaning. Meaning,
More.
100% it needs meaning.
But it's had meaning for how many years, Ty?
No,
Black Lives Matter is nothing new. Black Lives Matter has been happening
I
since the
know,
90s.
I know.
So what's more important, meaning or
But
attention?
we've had both.
Have we had attention like we've had
Yeah.
recently?
We only no, but do you know the only reason we have attention is because. But think what's been hitting attention? What's been hitting the news?
The
Because there's
protests,
bare peaceful protests that have been going on. But what
the
hits the news?
riots.
Riots and violent protests.
So attention.
But that's the wrong kind of attention.
So okay, so what's the difference? You tell me the difference between this recent, because the riots, if you look at news before, they showed the riots too, and they showed all the things happening. So
Yeah, I
what's the
know.
difference between then and now?
It's the wrong kind of attention. There's
That's
no,
not what I asked,
even if
Ty.
it's riots, no, but even if it's riots then and now, there's no difference. It's still the wrong
I
kind of
said, what is the
attention.
difference between the black movement before and now?
Before meaning when though?
90s. It's got more
People are less
attention.
racist. People
It's
are
got
less
more
racist.
attention. We've got more attention.
I'd say it's got the same amount of attention.
It's got nowhere near the same amount of attention. Do you know why it's got nowhere? Because white people are fighting now. White people can post it on social media. Black people we control the media. We can put the attention when we want it. That's powerful.
No, but it's only powerful if you're putting the right message across. If you're putting the right things in right places.
But you just said the only thing going on there, the majority of attention is riots. And that's the wrong message.
That is the wrong message.
So then that kind of contradicts what you just said.
How?
You said it's only good if you get the right message across. But the only message going across is the right message, which is a bad message.
That's the main, that I said majority and I said main. The main thing that is on the news that people are seeing is riots and violent protests. Protesters attacking police and fighting with police, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You see all of that. But all of that, while that was on
where does that
screens and
exist?
being shared. Huh?
Where are you seeing that the most?
On the news. In America and in Britain.
So on the news, the same thing that's been showing people for how many years, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see all the peaceful protests?
Some are in the news and mainly on socials.
So that's where they can reach more people and get more attention.
But there's still riots and the wrong message being said on socials as well.
So you said, just to reinforce your point, the main place you see the riots are in the news. And the main place you see the peaceful protests is social media and some on the news. So if we go back to the 90s, where did people find their information?
Everything was on news and radio.
So is now we can control attention, is not better? Because what is changed between 90s and now? What is really changed? Social media. So attention, where people put their attention, has the meaning of Black Lives Matter changed? Has the meaning of Black Lives Matter changed?
Depends on who you are.
What do you mean it depends on who you are?
It depends on who you are.
Has the meaning, the movement?
Yeah, no, it depends on who, because some people will take Black Lives Matter as black people want to be more than us.
Has the meaning overall, which is the fact
the
that
original meaning,
equality,
the fact that we want equality, no, that's the same throughout from the slave trade away till now. It's just equality.
So what has changed from slave trade till now?
Perspective
how?
As I just said, black people saying Black Lives Matter, they want to be on top of the whites, the this, the that, whatever. Black Lives Matter, fair enough, it's called Black Lives Matter, but it's not just for black people. We're fighting for all minorities.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
No, but I'm saying perspective.
But so you're saying the perspective from slave trade till now has changed?
The perspective of what people have of Black Lives Matter has changed from the slave trade to now.
And that's what is gotten it to where it is today. The perspective.
No, I'm saying there's a perspective. The perspective people have of it.
What's the biggest reason Black Lives Matter has gone to where it is today?
And then
Attention.
I couldn't give you an answer.
Attention. Attention. Do you know why attention? Because black people have been getting killed for years. And now that people have been locked up and they can look at their social media to see things like this, the attention is in the masses. Black people can control their own social media. Before in the 90s from the slave trade.
But how long has social media been about for?
How many times have we had Corona?
But it doesn't matter about how many times.
Corona. If Corona didn't happen, we would be in the same situation as we've been in for the last years. We'd be in the same. Let me tell you why. People are at home.
Wait, sorry. So you're saying without Corona and the lockdown, the Black Lives movement wouldn't have happened.
The Black Lives movement, how far it is today,
it wouldn't be as strong as it was. Basically.
No. How would people? Let me tell you why. People have been locked up for months, meaning they're stuck at home to go on social media more. There was a report that showed that YouTube, I think it was like 600% or 100% has increased on view time. More people are on YouTube, more people are on Facebook, more people on Instagram. So when a black man gets shot by a white police officer, but not even shot, his knee was on his neck for no reason. Most people before, they didn't have time to look at that because they have work, they have kids, they've got to look after it. They can sit down and watch someone get strangled for 12 minutes because they have that time. So, black people have been getting killed like Joy for years.
But if you say it like that, in my head, yeah, part of me is thinking, so basically because people are sitting at home doing nothing, they're forced to do this because they have the time to do it. They're forced to watch these things.
They're not forced. They can be more aware of it and the tension can be greater because it's just like this. If there's a cat walking past you, right? And this cat's like got all kind of different colors. If you're too busy looking at a poster that you have to look at for your work, you're going to maybe look down here and there and just see the cat. You're not even going to think about it. You've now lost your job. So the only thing you can really look at is the cat because that's all that's left. Because you can go on social media. So social media for this would be the cat. You can look at it and be like, wow, that cat's colorful. Because you have the time now. There's all these variables are not in your way anymore. Because if you think about it, if you've got a 9 to 5, you're waking up at 7 o'clock, getting ready for 8 o'clock, leaving around 8:30, getting to work. You come back at 5 o'clock. You're tired. You got your wife, you got your kids. By the time you've even gotten to sit down on social media, it's already 7, 8 o'clock? With Corona, you can wake up at 9ish. You can be at work and you can also be on social media because nobody's watching you. So basically, society had to come to a standstill for Black Lives, for the Black BLM movement had to be where it is. I'll say yes. I'll stand by that.
So why can't the Black Lives Matter? Why couldn't the BLM movement be where it is without society coming to a standstill?
How many years has these things not been
implemented at work though?
How long has been because there's not enough attention. If you think about it, if you really look at it, the only reason that officer was charged with anything is because of the attention. How many cases have we had where people have gotten away with stuff because you don't know? And from time the whole George thing happened, it was like a domino effect. Now we're going back and we're seeing all these things that were happening and we weren't even knowing about them because we didn't have time to look. And you look at like the case where the woman got shot in her own house when she was sleeping. Look at the case where people are getting the police misconduct. You really look at it and you're like, when has this been happening and how? And you're like, it's been happening for the last how many years?
But is that attention or people caring though?
Attention. People have always cared.
No, but the attention didn't come straight away when the George Floyd thing happened. It was people that actually cared, sharing it about everywhere. That led it to become to people.
How are they going to care if they don't know it exists? Well, let me rephrase that. How are you going to care if they don't have time to care? Have time to look? Have time? They have their own life. They had to pay bills. They had to go to work. Now everything's being set back. They have the time. The bills, you could have put your bills on pause. Really think about it. You telling me without COVID and people sitting down in front of their computers, and you know what? That's why the news covered it, because the attention, the amount of people that were going to watch it, they could not miss an opportunity. And that's why they flipped on the police and said, yeah, the police are bad here. Look what the police are doing. How many times have you seen, as a black boy, Ty, the amount of black people that was killed the same way as George Floyd over the last couple of years and you growing up?
Many.
So tell me what's the difference between then and now? People have the time to look. We knew police officers were killing black people in America. This ain't nothing new. But now more people are looking at it. And right now, the black people have the upper hand because we can tell them, look, we weren't lying. We weren't complaining. We weren't just saying life ain't fair. We weren't saying you say equality, but I don't see equality. You can see it now and we don't need to say it anymore.
But then that would mean that when lockdown's over and everything's cleared, people go back to work. They won't care about it anymore. They don't have the time.
It won't be as effective once they go back because they don't have the time anymore. But that's what I'm saying right now. The BLM needs the attention while it has it. That's why I said that the leeches, as bad as they are, they're still pushing it out more. They're still pushing it to say for more people to see. Maybe they're not the best people to push it, but at least they're pushing it. Because like you said, once people go back, think about it, Ty. Once we go back, we'll just go back to what we were doing the last couple of years. But the difference is now...
But it doesn't even matter about going back to work. On your timeline, go on Instagram right now and see if you see one Black Lives Matter post.
Right now, it doesn't matter about posting. We need change.
But that's social media.
We need change. No,
What changes happened though? What changes happened?
There is change happening.
What major changes happened?
Well, for one thing, there's a new law in one of the states in America called the Karen effect. The Karen law. So what it is if you call the police on a minority, I think it was, or a different color of person to you for a stupid reason, basically, you will get fined. Okay. Another thing happening. How many black shows have you seen on TV now? Have you seen that new song by Jay-Z, Entrepreneur? It's got all these black businesses coming up. How many black shows are you seeing now? How many? If you go on Sky, I was even watching TV.
But is that authentic though? Is that authentic though?
But you can't say that because you don't know.
But why is it not on there before then?
This is what I'm saying to you, Ty, because they didn't have the attention. This is what I'm trying to say to you.
But because what you're saying, basically, the outline is society had to stand still for BLM movement to get to where it is. Yeah.
My thing, no, it would have gotten there eventually, because it takes time. Society had to stand still for people to realize black people are getting killed in the masses, and it's not fair.
So why did society have to stand still for that? If it's been going on for years and people know it, that means they're choosing to be oblivious to the fact that black people are getting killed. Now that lockdown is here and society is standing still and there's nothing to jump on, they're like, okay, cool. Oh shit, black people are getting killed. What? Let me jump on that. Now the trend's dead and people are going back to work. Oh, I'm off of it.
The way I see it, sorry, I should have said, the way I see it is when society stood still, see, it's very far-fetched to say this, but they understood in their own way what it's like to be oppressed. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for that comment. And I don't mind. What I mean is being told by your government to stay at home, they got annoyed. And for a second, I can't talk for all white people or all black people. You felt that kind of, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say anymore. So now that you've just killed a black man and black people are angry, we're going to be angry too. We're seeing it too. We feel how you feel. Because I've seen, and sometimes it annoys me when I see white people fighting for me. I'm like, I didn't ask you to fight for me. But you know what? If that's what's going to create change, then fine. That's creating change. And what I mean is if you think about it, it's going to a point now, and this is the problem with the police, I would say, is white people don't even like the police. And they don't even get the half the stuff that black people do with the police. So that's added on to the fact. And when Corona came, they sat down and thought, why am I being told what to do? This is unfair. Then once they said, stay at home again, a black man's being killed and they see people protesting. Okay, I want to go out and protest too. Why are they going out and protesting? Some of them are doing it because of the black man. Some of them are doing it because they want to get out of their house. But the attention it gets when more people are seeing, wow, black people have been getting killed for years. I've never thought about it. And even when you look at, like, I remember this case, I saw this post, right? It said when this black man and white woman were leaving the stop, they left at the same time, right? When they left. The security guard stopped the black man and said, we need to check your bags. And she said, but what about me? She said, and the guy said, no, you're fine to go. And she literally said, no, you should be able to check me. There's no reason it's him automatically. And she said with her chest, if it wasn't for BLM, I would have never have thought about this. And the only way BLM got this big was because of all the attention and Corona. Let me ask you this, Ty. Let me set this question to you. If Corona wasn't happening, do you think as many white people would have joined the protest?
No.
And that's what I mean. Without society coming down to a standstill and there being literally nothing else to do, people had to watch. Maybe it wasn't the best of ways, but it happened.
That makes it sound so bad. People had nothing else to do, so they joined the protest. Meaning, oh, this is the only thing that's going on. Let me jump on that. That's why, because this is okay. So how do I say? So you basically what you're saying is you prefer the attention over the meaning.
No, it's not what I said.
No, okay.
I said attention is more important. I prefer meaning. I'd prefer if you had meaning, but attention. Well, listen, it's like the word of God. The word of God wouldn't be as big as it is if it didn't get as much attention. People have the church has attention. People. When you look at priest, it has attention. Being a priest is its own thing.
Who spreads the word of God?
Okay. Yes,
majority of the people who spread the word of God have meaning.
If you stood in a park and screamed out Black Lives Matter, what would have more effect? You screaming it in a park or you screaming it in the middle of a KKK rally? What would have more of an effect?
If I screamed it in the middle of a KKK rally, I'd be dead.
Yes, so you get attention. So if you die, the news are going to cover it, right?
Okay, wait.
Right? You listen to me, yeah? Now listen to me. Let me finish.
All right, go on.
So you scream it in the middle of a park, in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to a KKK rally and scream Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
So the KKK rally are going to beat you up or kill you.
Yeah.
And then it's going to hit the news.
Yeah.
Because a KKK rally killed a black man that was preaching the Black Lives Matter. Then the news cover it. And then people start looking at it. And then people start looking at the KKK. Like, damn, they're racist. Maybe it's not a big amount of people, but damn, they're racist, right? Now, let's go back to you in the park.
This is the thing. Because that could also be flipped to that I was antagonizing the KKK. I knew what reaction they would have. So I went down there with a purpose to annoy them, which pushed them to attack me. Because because the same thing happened at the BLM protest. People were like, oh, the black people are beating up the white people. But certain white people went down there with,
intent?
What's the flag? It's like a flag that means they're racist or something.
Confederate.
Whatever that is, yeah. People went that, meaning the white people went down there knowing that this was going to get on black people's nerves, knowing that they was going to get attacked, and then act all shocked when they got attacked.
And let me ask you a question. Did that get attention?
What
they did get attention?
But it's bad for the, yeah. But
so
is it good attention?
And what was their meaning?
Whose meaning?
The people who came to come down.
But the racist ones.
If you want to call them racist, call them racist.
They're racist. Yeah, they're racist.
Okay, that's fine. And what was their meaning?
I don't know.
Okay, so now imagine if they stayed at home that day and screamed out their meaning. Would you have heard about it?
Depends. If they stayed at home, then no.
Okay, then. So attention's more important than meaning. You need to get your meaning across. Once you get your attention is more important than me, especially in our generation. Listen, people are getting paid because of their attention. If you're an Instagram, what do you think an Instagram influencer is?
I get that, but how do I? Okay, if people that are fighting for you don't care, they have no meaning. Yeah, that means when it gets sticky,
I never said meaning wasn't important. That's the thing.
I'm saying, let's say you're basically saying, I think all black people like that are forced, like, you know, to live a bad life in lower homes and stuff. I think they should. Okay. No, but I'm saying if, okay? So what if? Okay. If you said they should be given more of equality chance, like, you know, you signed a petition saying each black family that's poor should be given £10,000 to help their lives. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's saying, yeah, all the white people are joining in, but they don't care.
Okay. So carry on.
Yeah, they don't care. They're joining in because to give it your attention. You've got bare attention, but very little meaning. That means when the government turns around and says, I don't know, something like,
wait, would you get to
if
that?
we see if we see anything on social media about you posting it, we see it live in the flesh, you're getting fined, you might get jail time, that when it gets sticky, they're cutting because they don't actually care. Then your attention's gone out the window. Yeah, it's been there, 100%. Okay. Don't get me wrong, it's been there, but now it's got sticky. They're cutting. Gone.
So counter that with a meaning.
Huh?
So counter that with a meaning.
So now, let's say you're doing the same thing, but you have people that actually they've poured heart into it. Yeah, they're like, this is meaning. I want to get this across. If someone has enough heart, even if you tell them there is a bad consequence if you do this, if they have enough heart, they're going to carry on doing it.
So, I didn't say all the attention is from people who don't care. You can have meaning.
But I'm telling you, but you said attention's more important than meaning.
Attention is more important.
See,
because
because
the government won't even look at you if you don't have the right if you don't have the right attention. So let's say, like, for your example,
they will if you have meaning. If you have meaning, they will look at you.
You think tight. They don't care about you.
Okay, no, but listen, if it was just 100% black people protesting in the streets, yeah, even 100 of them protesting, government says no protest. If you protest, we're going to arrest you. If them same 100 people with meaning keep coming out into the streets, they're going to look at it.
You're assuming all of them don't care. 70 of them could care.
I didn't say but they don't care.
But you said that they don't have meaning. And that meaning.
If they have meaning.
70 of them will probably have meaning, and if they're coming out to those protests, a good amount of them will have meaning, because you're basically saying all the people that went out for BLM, majority of them didn't have meaning. That's what you're basically saying. Well, that's what you're saying, because you said once it gets
jumped on. I said meaning is more important.
Once it gets tough, okay.
The people that don't care will cut.
So, and how many people that are there that actually don't care? Attention is more important. Let me tell you why. Right. No, but so let's go back. No, let me tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Listen, but before you say your point, yeah, literally what you just said, yeah. Let's say there's a big group of people. 70% of them, or even 60% of them care. Yeah. 30 to 40% don't care. When it gets sticky, them 30 to 40% are helping with the attention, the reach, and whatever. When it gets sticky, that 30 to 40% cut, gone. Now you've only got that 60 to 70% that are still pushing it.
But the attention
there's not as much attention, but they're still getting it. Why? Because there's meaning. If only 10% of them care, if 90% of them don't have meaning, and when it gets sticky, they cut. There's 10% that are still there pushing it.
You're mixing up two words. You're mixing up attention and meaning. What you're saying, because the people are there, they don't have meaning and they don't care. There's a big difference between not caring and having meaning. Having meaning is to say, when it gets hard, we're going to carry on. And to say, if they're coming to a protest, a lot of them may not have meaning, or a lot of them may have meaning. That doesn't mean they'll cut. And that doesn't mean a majority of them don't have meaning or don't care. That's why I said you're basically downgrading the whole of the BLM. You're basically saying a lot of them who went didn't care, or they didn't have meaning to stay, because BLM got hard. But BLM got hard. BLM did get hard. People were getting arrested. There were people having to police saying stop protesting, and then people didn't cut.
And since that, people didn't cut. But people did cut, fam.
A good majority of them cut. A majority of them.
So your attention's already gone down.
But it's not, because we're still talking about it today.
But it's gone. How? Okay, we're talking about it. As I said earlier, go into your Instagram right now on your feed. Scroll through for a good half an hour and see if you find one Black Lives Matter post. One post about the BLM movement. If you
look for where it's happening, it's shifted to actual things going into process than us just preaching about it. We've done the preaching. Now we're having the action. And without the attention, we wouldn't be able to do the preaching. Example. I'll use your example what you said about the poor people, black people thing, right? Let's say there's 10 people who care, right? They're going to spend 5 years, 10 years trying to argue with the government saying these kids are underprivileged. That's happening today. It's happening right now as we speak. If they had a million, let's say even 1,000 people preach and say these kids are underprivileged. These kids, do you know why the government can do something? Because of the image, because of the attention it's getting. Once the 30% have been cut off when it gets hard, there's still that 60% which have meaning and now have the attention to do change. That's why once you've got your attention, the meaning now needs to be important. You need meaning. I never said you don't need meaning, but I said you need attention. Because without attention, you're just preaching in an empty woods and nobody's listening to you.
Yeah, but when the people that are helping with the attention cut, your attention goes down. You don't keep the same attention.
You will not get as much attention, but you still get attention.
And it dies. No, but it dies down.
That's like saying now BLM has died down.
It has.
Has it?
BLM, as fam, you said
I can go on LinkedIn right now. On LinkedIn right now, I've seen multiple posts about being black. People are big. What do you mean? Who is that? It's business people.
Who uses that? Business How many people can you say? How business people? Okay, business people.
It's a business platform where business can talk to other business people.
Okay, you use it.
I use it for. Yes.
Do I use it?
Well, then that's not the point. That means you're not looking in the right places.
But it should be everywhere. If it's a whole thing that needs the attention, it needs to be being.
Because we're doing actual things. There's no point in just screaming every single day for a year, change. We need action.
But fam, do you know what that's like? That's like putting something on Sky News, knowing not everyone has a Skybox. Oh, it's there, but you're not looking in the right place because it's on Sky News. But I watch BBC News. Why is it not on BBC News?
Phase. Instead of just talking about it, we are doing something about it. Maybe you don't see it because I guarantee you right now, if you Google BLM, you'll see multiple articles, multiple people. There is shows like I was watching. I think it was something about growing up racist or growing up on racism. There's a whole TV series about being black and growing up around racism. That's because of BLM. BLM was the attention. Now we're doing the action. To say because you don't see it on your Instagram, and who do you follow on Instagram? That's a question. If you follow the right people, you will see it. Maybe the people you follow are the leeches. Maybe you're following the 30-40%. How do you know that? And you're not looking at the 60%.
No, but it should be everywhere. No?
That's no, Ty.
Forget the leeches. Forget the leeches.
Okay, let me ask you this. Out of 5 million people that has reported, I don't know how long ago the report was, I use Instagram every day. How many followers do you have? Shout out to his Instagram. So you have 1,000 followers, right?
Yeah. So
30% of 5 million, right? I can't even do the number of my head right now.
Yeah.
I think it's like 300,000. If I 5 million.
Yeah.
So I literally just do the calculations now. 5 million divided by 16 million. 5 million? No, it can't be 60 million. What? Times 0.3. So 1.5 million, right?
Yeah.
So at 1.5 million, you have 1,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
So out of those 1,000 followers, you make up less than a percentage, less than a point percentage. You make up less of a point percentage, right?
Yeah.
And you're complaining you can't see more things about BLM. Let me ask you, do you follow BLM pages?
Yeah.
And you don't see them posted?
BLM posts I follow, yeah. But why is it only that? Why am I not seeing? I follow bare meme pages. Why is it not on there? Because they're influencers.
Because like you said, the 30-40% leeches are gone. That's what you said.
But because as you was talking, I'm literally looking at the BBC News page right now. There's not one thing about black people.
Maybe they're the leeches too.
But there's not. These are the places that are meant to inform us. If there's major things going on, the news tells us. No.
Do you go to the news for where to find out information all the time?
Most time, yeah.
And the other times?
I'll just look about.
So you can look about for this information. You just choose to use the news. So the information's
The
there.
news is there. Yeah.
The information's there. You're just not looking in the right places.
No, I personally, I do. If I need to find something out, I'll search. If I need to find something out about BLM, I'll search in BLM. But I'm telling you, it's there. The people that don't, how do I say? But this, here we go. This is where I'm going in with the meaning. Yeah. You, how to say? Because if you don't have meaning for it and you don't care for it. I'm trying to think of something that you wouldn't care about.
Not heartless, Ty. Damn.
Okay. I know for a fact you don't care about any updates to do with the, how do you say it, the LGBT or whatever.
Don't say that. I love my LGBT community.
No,
don't
but
say
you
that.
don't care about the updates to do with them.
Well, some of their updates do affect the BLM because
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying you don't care if they go and pass a law tomorrow about something, you're not gonna know about it unless you actually see it.
No, I did know about it.
But are you gonna search?
Oh, no. There was a law for them
in your own spare time, do you search up their updates? Do you search up about their community?
I don't keep up with news.
Their community. Do you search up LGBTQ or whatever?
But that's looking at news.
You read about it.
That's looking at news. I don't look at news. I
don't
news.
Take my actually just Googling them or following them on a social page, looking up at the community.
I follow the LGBT community of Bournemouth, my university. Listen, Ty, I think it's different for me.
No, but I'm not.
I stay informed differently.
I'm talking about the community in the world.
Okay, well then I can't talk for everyone else, can I?
No, I'm saying
to support your point. Let's support your point. Let's support your point. No, I don't. Let's see where you're going with this. Let's see where you're going with this.
Okay, so no, you don't, because let's say you don't care enough about it as much as you would care about BLM. Yeah.
No, I think we should all care just as much.
No, but I'm saying. If you care about something, you're going to put more energy into it, no?
Yeah.
So if you care more about BLM, you're going to put more energy into actually going and finding.
Something. I was going to say something that was going to be really, really funny. No, I was going to be like, well, you say that. Nah, let's leave that off. Let's leave that off. I'm not. No, that's too much energy already.
No. But I'm saying, if you have more energy in BLM, you're gonna put purpose into going and finding things about BLM, finding articles and stuff.
No.
If you don't care too tough about, I think I'm saying it right. Is it LGBT?
LGBT. That's what I remember it as. The thing is, I care about BLM, but I don't put time and effort into research.
Yeah, LGBTQ. But that's what I'm saying. If you care about it, you're gonna put the effort in there. So
but that's you can't say that.
With your attention now,
yeah.
If it's not out there trending, how are people that don't really know or don't really care gonna see it?
Google it.
But they don't care enough, and they don't know.
They can come past. They can come across it. Like you said, there's no way for them to find out. Oh, everywhere. There's social media. You just haven't come across it.
I just looked.
Okay, and we just showed these follow 1,000 people out of 5 million.
Yeah, but I can go onto the Explore page. That's it.
Search
shows
BLM on the Explore page, and what comes up?
Search BLM. Why is it just not there?
Because there's other stuff that's there. That's like, because then we can't just have BLM there.
I'm watching a girl change her clothes right now. Why is this important?
Because that's what a social media platform is. That's what's most popular. That's what keeps people on the platform. It's just like, if Instagram was made to be a BLM Instagram, then all you would see is BLM. Instagram is not made for just black people. Surprise, Ty! It's not made just for black people.
But I'm not seeing anything to do with BLM, fam.
Because it's not for BLM. What about all the other?
I'm seeing nothing. I'm seeing bare cars.
Okay,
it's not just for cars, is it?
No.
But
that Explore page
show you?
That Explore page is specific. That says a lot about you, to be honest. Because that Explore page is an algorithm of what you like to look at. So obviously you've been watching some car pics, you've been watching some women, say less Ty, and you've been watching different things. So that Explore page, just on YouTube, you will see what you've been searching up and what you like. This just means you haven't been looking at BLM stuff recently. I've had some BLM stuff in my Explore page. I see a lot of stuff about drill, because obviously I follow drill rappers. If the majority of your followers following was BLM, you will see more BLM stuff in your discovery. Just like when the BLM was big and happening, more people were posting about it, and it was getting more attention. So it was in your explore page, and you're looking actively for BLM. It's all algorithms, and you can't say it's. There's 15 million people using. I guarantee you, not every single one wants to look at BLM every single day of their life.
But there's shoes on here. I don't look at shoes.
You don't look. You don't follow any shoe brands.
Not on Insta, no.
And you haven't liked any shoe pictures recently.
I don't like pictures. I don't like.
Maybe they're pitching something new to you. You may like shoes. Are they nice shoes?
No.
Well, then they've obviously pitched that wrong. Just because
there's bare stuff about shoes. I don't look at shoes.
Maybe they're trying to sell you some shoes. Have you been talking about shoes?
There's bare about Instagram thoughts. I don't look at Instagram thoughts.
You don't look at Instagram women.
I don't look at Instagram thoughts.
I didn't say thoughts. I said women.
And go,
no, you don't have to search it. But it could be what someone you follow has liked or followed. So they might think because you follow each other, you might like the same thing. So I'm not going to explain the Instagram algorithm to you because I don't know the Instagram algorithm. All I'm saying to you is that discover page is for you to find stuff that you like. Because if obviously it's not doing very well for you because it's putting the wrong stuff in front of you. But are you saying you've never gone in there and found stuff that you've liked?
And where? The explore page?
The explore page.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's there for. Because and the way
so it's telling me that I shouldn't. So what if I like BLM?
Then search it.
But why is it not here? That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. You realize you're basically saying I want you to show me BLM without you knowing I like BLM.
Because what if I don't know what BLM is though?
You don't know what BLM is.
What if?
How are you not gonna know what BLM is?
What if I don't?
Give me one person who. Unless you don't have access to the internet, even if you don't even have access to the internet, you know what BLM is.
What about 2 years from now? I don't know what BLM is. Or if I don't, don't know. What if I just don't care?
Okay, then BLM's not for you then.
I don't care because I don't actively search it up. I don't care, but it's still not there.
Okay, why does it need to be there if you don't care?
I don't care about designer shoes, but it's still there.
Because it's trying to pitch you something new.
But why is it not pitching BLM to me?
Because you're not searching up BLM.
But I'm not searching up shoes.
But your friends are maybe. Or maybe you've looked at shoes. Or maybe when you scroll past a post. As I said, I can't explain the Instagram algorithm to you.
But then if that's the algorithm, it's basically telling me that no one that I follow has had anything to do with BLM.
Never said that. Notice you're flipping the words. I said maybe the people looking at BLM and what you've been actively looking at and the people, it thinks you like shoes better because shoes are more trending than BLM. And I know you're going to jump on that. Look at the smile on his face already. And what I mean by that is Instagram at the end of the day is a platform that works on trends. Whatever's popping or whatever they think you may like, they're going to push forward. Like YouTube right now. If you don't search up anything to do with BLM and BLM isn't trending, you're less likely to get things with BLM. But I think you're missing the point of it's not about BLM anymore. It's about what BLM is doing behind the scenes. Do you know how many black shows have come up all of a sudden? Do you know how many black things are coming in? They're explaining our history. They're explaining racism, growing up racism. I'm seeing Bob Marley coming back on TV. You can't go. There was a time where you could even go on Sky and there's a whole black section. On Spotify, there's a black section music. It's not about screaming anymore. We've got the attention. Now we need the meaning and we need to do change. Without the attention, this is what I'm saying. Without the attention, no change will happen because nobody's watching or cares. We have the attention, and now we have enough attention to have meaning. Tell me this: a year ago, could you imagine of going on TV and seeing black people talk about how they grew up in racism in the UK?
Yeah.
You can imagine seeing that?
Yeah.
I would never have seen that a year ago. Never see. They wouldn't. I don't think they would have allowed that a year ago. It's just like there's an American brand. I can't remember what it was. They had a black woman as their logo, and they had to change the logo because it has things back to it goes back to slave times. They had to change that. That's what BLM attention has done. They had that for years.
But there's been people for years black people talking about how my life was hard and stuff.
Exactly, Ty. But what's the difference now? They have more
But you're
attention.
telling me, but you just asked me, would you ever have thought people on TV talking about their life? Yes,
And it
because I've
wouldn't have
seen it.
happened. Not on the level it is on now.
Yes, because majority of the people talking about my life was hard and everything are black celebrities that will talk about it.
I'm not talking about celebrity. I'm talking about your everyday Joe, your everyday run-of-the-mill person. Like
Who's your
the guy.
everyday Joe that's on TV?
There's a lot of people that's just everyday on TV.
But who do you, okay, but you have people like, I don't know, you probably have people like, Mo the comedian,
Okay,
Big
him.
Nasty.
Yeah, I
Who
wouldn't
else
call him a
runs a black
celebrity.
TV show? Who?
Mo the comedian and Big Nasty.
Why are they not celebrities?
Welcome, guys, to Late Night with Late Nights with Calvin and Ty. Ty, would you like to introduce yourself?
Makes sense. All right, yeah. Late night. So.
How's your day been today, Ty?
It's been around. How's your day been, Calvin?
It's been kind of busy. So okay. we're going to carry on the conversation of BLM. Mm-hmm. So obviously the last episode was we had a bit of an argument. You had some points you said you wanted to prove on. So I found today I found this video. I wanted to see what Ty thought. I think it supports his point, but I kind of see what he thinks, and let's just get right into it. So we just finished the video. So Ty, first impressions of what you took from the video as a whole. We'll go into it and kind of analyze what people are saying and kind of give our opinions. But from first impressions, what did you think?
I think it was very, very mixed match. Like there were widely very different opinions, all from black people. That everyone kind of had their own, even if they were talking about the same thing, they all had their own argument to make that was completely different from the other person's.
So I'll explain what I got from this, Ty. From what I saw from this is what we talked about last time, where even though it got the attention, sometimes the message and the meaning didn't get across. Some of them, the points they were making, like I remember one guy talked about, I'll go into it a bit later, saying black lives only matter if. I don't remember any BLM things saying black lives only matters if. It's black lives matter, and that's been the statement. But obviously, if he's been exposed to people saying black lives matter if, and like you said, the leeches are going to use this as an opportunity so they could twist the word and twist the meaning. And I feel like that's the section of that you come in the same category as them, where you say, well, look at what you say black lives matter, but look at the way it's turning out because of how it looks.
Yeah, I think some of the points that some of these people made, I 100% disagree with, because one of the guys said in the
we'll
thing.
Go back into it in a sec.
Oh, but yeah, okay. So some of the things they said, I completely disagree with. Like it's just, to me, it seems like some people were being oblivious to certain facts that are actually out there.
So kind of to go on to, I think the problem too lies with America, and I'm going to receive a lot of hate for this, but so everything I say is everything I say and believe is 50% influence, 50% of what I think. Because obviously you see what you see to get influence. Yeah. With America, I feel like they fight each other based on political views. Because I don't know if you remember the guy said, the only reason people are making a race thing now is because you don't want Trump in power. Yeah. And I feel like the problem is, this is a problem that's been going on since before Trump was even a thing. Since before, like the guy said, one of the guys said, I'm going to be talking about before and after. And then one of the other guys said, well, where were these people before? These people have always been here. But the problem is people always put a reason on it. And with America, they live very differently to us in the UK, where if you make it and you're black, it feels like you're not black and ghetto anymore. Like you're not from the hood. Like if you look at Steve Harvey, he goes on about being from the hood, but you can't see Steve Harvey from the hood. And the guy said he's in the ghetto. And that's one thing I know from my life I experienced, where I thought grew up in the ghetto. I thought when I grew up was bad. But when you meet more people, you realize your life is actually pretty good. Like, and I'm looking back in life. My mom, like, I was far from the ghetto. But I went to a private school. So you can, but then in my head, I'm like, this is bad. Like this lifestyle is, because I never saw a worse lifestyle. But once I started meeting more people, because to me, he talked about, I can't remember where he said he was from. Obviously, we'll go into it, but the ghetto of the ghetto, from what I can see from the UK, is Chicago. If you're in Chicago and you're out there sitting, you can say with your chest, I can say, as in, obviously, I don't know what the other places are like, so I'm not from America. But to me, I see the ghetto as Chicago. And kind of going on to the point of black people killing black people, when he talked about, black people being black people, I think the problem lies where we know this, but if we're already killing each other, the last thing we need is another race killing us. If that makes, do you kind of get my point when I say that? It's like saying 10 people are robbing my store. And I'm like, oh, I need to fix this one person robbing my store. I need to fix this other. It's like, no, that was a bad example. That was a really bad example.
It's like say like there's how do I say it? Yeah, it'd be like there's 10 black people robbing my store. I don't need another 10 races
white people.
Yeah.
So like 10 people, 5 black, 3 white, 2 Latino. Let's say it's like saying, oh, majority of black people are robbing my store anyway. It's like, yeah, but we understand that. But why don't we fix what we can at a time? We know the black people are killing black people. It's not something that's, and the thing is, a problem too is, I think with the propaganda that's come in, it feels like the amount of black people who kill black people is thrown out of proportion to what is actually there. Because white people kill white people too, you know. Like, when I watch shows on TV, right? Maybe again, it's the propaganda. This is just what I'm exposed to. When I see murder shows, and it's like when they kill family members and they kill, like, you know, fraud, I don't see a lot of black people. When I see black people, it's always connected to drugs, drive-by shootings, and gangs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But when I see murder shows, you know, it's like how I murdered my whole family, how I done this.
Yeah.
But that could be me, because obviously that's all personal, what I've been exposed to.
But it's true in the sense of, how do I say, whenever you watch something, this person was a psycho, a serial killer, they killed children, they abducted. It's all white people. But then when you watch gang films, from what I see, it's all white people that are the serial killers and the crazy people. Then when you see
any film to do with a black person, it's
gang films,
it's
crime films, it's black people.
And that's what I don't get, where they say black people kill, because like black people, don't get me wrong, black people do kill black people. That's a no-brainer. But it feels like they're saying that like no other race kills another race. Do you know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you hear white on white crime is a bad thing? All crime is a bad thing. And one guy even said, why we're saying it like black, all lives
not even a bad thing. When's the last time you heard white on white crime?
But that's what I mean. But in this, I feel like that's where it comes to the propaganda. In America, I feel like the propaganda is much stronger. Because in the UK, I think we are based, again, I said this is influenced by what I see, and influence of what I decide. So I feel like we're more on a when the guy said, like Lil Wayne, he said he's black and rich, so he doesn't see racism. I feel like that doesn't exist as big as it does in the UK. In the UK, I believe that does work, because I would say we are based more on class than on race. People are racist. The UK isn't innocent, but if you have the money on your side, you will not seen as that black person. You're like that guy with money.
If you hold a certain status, then you don't hold a certain status.
But I feel like in America, that doesn't stand as well, because you see, for me, I see a dissociation when black people get rich. When Jay-Z's from, let's say, the hood. Yeah. Right? I don't see Jay-Z being from the hood, because I feel like the propaganda in America has dissociated the whole being black and rich and being from the hood, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when I see rich black people, I can't see them being from the hood.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's because of the propaganda that's been pushed to say, when you are rich and black, you're no longer rich, black and poor, or black and ghetto.
When you leave the hood, you're not black anymore.
Leave the hood, you're not. And then you see it when they say the hood people don't love me no more. It's like this big dissociation between it. But let's get back into the video. We'll break it down bit by bit. So each person that goes on.
Obviously, right?
I'll kind of mute it. So this one was basically saying defund the police. Going on to that matter, with defund the police, I feel like people, when I say defund the police, well, I don't think you should defund the police. I think the police should have more rules. Don't defund the police, because that's not going to help anyone. Because if there's less police, there's less people to fight crime.
They should be under more strict law.
Strict, because they get away. Look, how is it? If I guarantee, if I shot anyone the way the police officer shot someone, I'm going to prison for murder for life. But if a police officer does it and excuses it saying he could have had a knife on him, which it was shown he didn't. Oh, did he have a knife? I think he had. I can't remember if he had a knife.
Who?
But there was a guy recently, he got shot in his back about 8 times and he's paralyzed.
From the car?
From the car. If
I don't think he had anything on him.
So that's what I'm saying. I can't remember the story.
But he might have, but it wasn't on him.
But that's what I mean. So if I did that, I would be in prison. We all know that it'd be a quick prison. If any any citizen did that to, like, even if it was one of those civil officers who technically have rights apparently to arrest you or detain you. Again, it's a bit iffy with the research, but let's just say anyone who's not a police officer did what he did, they'd be in prison. But if a police officer does it, he has a chance to get away with it. And I feel like that's where the problem lies, where they say defund the police.
What I think people need to understand, as you said, don't defund them, because the same people that will say the police don't care for us, defund the police and stuff, if someone runs up in your house and, threatens your life or something, the first person you're going to think, exactly. So you're gonna, what's the word? Rely on the police to help you, but you want them to be defunded. They can't help you then. So as you said, stricter rules, they seem to be...
Because, like, even in the UK, the police have a lot of power. Like, for example, Ty, I don't know if you knew this. So obviously, I drive a car, Ty drives a car. When you're stopped by the police, when they say, you need to get out of the car, you have a legal right to stay in your car.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You can stay in your car and answer the questions from the window. I never knew this. And there's little things like this and then if they can find a way to take you out of the car, if they can charge you with the right thing, saying, well, we need to find you right. They even have, so I remember seeing some cases, obviously, again, what I exposed to, where they would find a reason to charge you. And they'll say, we'll find it. Like, I remember there was a guy, it was this American show, actually. I won't get it up now. I'll edit it in. It's a video of a police officer following a guy, a black man in a rental car. He goes into obviously a more suburban area, more urban area, I should say, sorry. And he's driving around. He's followed for 3 blocks. And then when he makes one wrong turn or U-turn, he stopped. And they said, what's going on? What's blah, blah, blah. And the problem wasn't that he made the illegal U-turn. The problem was they were following him for 3 blocks. And when they found a reason to stop him, that's what they used to stop him. And they could take that further. And I remember seeing another, I'll even show you this, Ty. This caught me, like, to say Black lives don't matter with this kind of video going viral. When I say Black lives matter, all I mean is I think everyone should have equality to a point, because I don't think we're ever going to have equality, because people always have their bias and have their stereotypes, but just more of a fair system. So this video of, so while you give your opinion, like, kind of reply of what I'm saying, and while I just search this up.
I think you're not wrong with the police thing. Obviously, they have to have probable cause in it, so they will look for anything and everything. But at the same time, as many people say that, obviously police officers mainly say that they're not all bad. So obviously some pick and choose, but then it's widely based on you yourself, like how you react to certain things.
So do you think no matter if you had a good or bad police officer, it wouldn't matter if you act properly?
Heavily, take for instance George Floyd. I don't see any way he acted out of turn. That still happened. But if you
They
have
said George Floyd was on drugs and he had previous criminal convictions.
but even then, but in the video, when through actual evidence of watching the videos, when they say don't restrain, he's not restraining, and he only starts to restrain when he's actually, you know, when he's actually starting to feel pain, like i.e. they're dragging him about or hitting him and stuff. As any normal person, no normal person that's getting arrested is going to, if I, like, for instance, me, if police stop me, I've always been told and advised, keep calm, do what the police officer wants you to do, just to, keep yourself safe and everything. But then if I'm sitting there and then the police officer or start dragging me for no reason, hitting me, obviously I'm going to act out. I'm not going to stay calm and, not defend myself. But then it gets played off that you're resisting and stuff. So
Because that's what they write
if
in
you
the
have
report.
so if you have a bad officer, you're kind of at a loss. You can't win. If you have a good officer or an officer that, abuses their power, but at the same time abides by the law, like they know when enough is enough, then it's highly dependent on how you act. Because if you have an officer that abides by the law and you act up, why you always stopping me, why you always doing this, they're gonna obviously start thinking, wait, this guy's getting a bit aggressive, I need to take him down by force now, use But if it's like, your rights and stuff, and man goes to touch your stuff, you're like, oh, you're not allowed to do that, or you're not allowed to take me out the car. Deep down in the back of their head, they know, okay, they're right. Like, I need probable cause to get them out the car. I need probable cause to put the handcuffs. I need probable cause to put them in the back of the car. Then that is, so it's widely based on you, but also a major factor is whether the police officer, is a good officer or a bad officer.
So I want you to watch this video, Ty, and tell me what you think, okay? So this is a police caught camera, as you can see, of them responding to a situation.
After an extreme reaction from Phoenix police to a little girl swiping a dog.
Kind of feedback.
It's mad, and it's mad because I've seen not the news report on it that guy just done, but the video itself. I've actually seen that before.
So, do you think from that video, defund the police, you still stand by not defunding them?
This is what I was thinking while I was watching. I thought this is the question he's going to ask me. I see 100% why people are saying defund the police. From time they're jumping out on a 4-year-old and a pregnant mum with guns drawn already for shoplifting a piece of plastic from a dollar store, which is probably $1, you'd be like, wait, hold up, what's going on? Like, these people, these officers are moving a bit mad. But at the same time, my point still stands in, if something goes wrong, that's mad, you're going to still rely on the police, which will bring back to what both of us agreed on, where they need stricter rules, they need regulations.
How would you fix that situation? Say if the camera wasn't there, and how do you put rules onto what happened in that situation? Because if the camera exists, they can say they lost the camera footage, or they can cover their camera, or they can forget to turn it on.
I would say, well,
fix that?
First of all, in that situation, let's say that happened and there were witnesses, but no one filmed anything. First of all, you'd have to check police body cams, because I'm pretty sure when the police get into something with someone, like when they respond to a call, I don't know the actual law on it, but I'm pretty sure their body cams have to be on.
Search it right now.
Yeah, pretty sure their body cams have to be on, obviously, to protect themselves and the other person. And also, you obviously, straight away take, like, if there was people witness there, make it available for them to come and talk to someone, because, if the police are saying, oh, this happened, they was, what is that?
I'm just trying to find. Carry on. I'll see if I can find it.
If if the police are coming back saying, I spread his feet, they're coming back saying, oh, the woman was very aggressive. They stole.
So they didn't say she was. So from the report,
No, but I'm saying if they said that, I'm just saying, say if they said that, because we don't know what they would have said because there was videos in it. But let's say if she said she was being aggressive or she wasn't listening, she was being non-compliant. If you have 5 witnesses coming to you and telling you, listen, he didn't spread his feet, he kicked his legs so that he could fall, or she was listening, they pulled up and drew their guns out on a 4-year-old who had a Barbie doll in her hand, you can't dismiss it. And if you do, you're gonna have to answer to someone. You're gonna have to justify it. And I don't see any way where that's justified to pull a gun out. I don't see any way where you can flip pulling a gun out on a 4-year-old because they took a Barbie doll and not pay for it.
So, believing more people's statements other than the police.
Yeah.
So the problem with that is, can someone make up a statement? Because in court, they might remember the things differently. So they might say it happened one way, but it actually happened a different way. But what happens if 2 people contradict each other because they remember it differently? Because obviously everyone has their own experience and read things differently.
You'd have to take them through, sometimes they put witnesses on lie detectors and stuff.
But how many witnesses can you put on lie detectors for each case?
It would depend if you're actually there. If they can actually... if they can actually prove, CCTV cameras,
But if there's a CCTV camera, wouldn't the CCTV camera prove what's happening in the situation?
No, or even, okay, let's say there's no CCTV camera. Even something as simple as they can track your phone, the location of your phone. They can be like, yeah, okay, cool. You was in this location at the time of it happening. Because they have access to things like that.
So, as a witness, to give support, they have to give up their personal information to say they were there and then get a lie detector to say what happened.
If it really means something, people would do it, yeah.
And how many times would they be able to do this?
What do you mean?
Well, let's say if this case happens once a week, how much time and resources do they have to keep doing lie detector tests, checking CCTV, checking through phones?
No, but then that's when you would question that it's a problem. If this case is happening every single week and the police officers are coming back and telling you one thing and witnesses are coming back and telling you another thing, and it's constantly happening, you either have to be like, okay, these witnesses are trying to keep this person or keep these people out of any punishment, or you have to be like, well, you have to start looking at your own and being like, well, maybe these police officers are not actually doing their job properly.
Do you think they want to admit that? Because by them saying the police aren't doing their job properly, that means they are not putting the money where it should be going and training their police officers properly.
100% they don't want to do that, because it's the same thing we see in today. As you spoke about earlier, when a police officer does something, they will receive minimal or something. Like if they murder someone, they won't receive the same punishment as if you went out and murdered someone. The police
don't in all cases, no.
Okay,
because they have a right, in a way, to defend themselves and defend everybody else. So if they see you as a threat, they have to take out a threat, no?
But there you go. If they see you as a threat, because anything can be a threat. Let's say police are called on you, someone gets out the car. If you're a very muscular person, they might automatically see you as a threat, just because they know if they come to try and detain you, that you can easily overpower them. Even though, let's say you won't, if they're saying, get on your knees, put your hands up, and you're doing it, they in their head they just feel like, oh, he's a big person. If I try to detain him, he'll overpower me. That's a threat, so they draw a gun. Okay. But then automatically you're going to be thinking, whoa, like, why have you drawn a gun on me? Like, I'm listening to you. and everything. But then when it goes back to the report, they'll be like, oh, he was a big person. He was showing signs that he was gonna resist. I drew my gun to keep control of the situation. Witnesses
So
and the
not to cut
suspect
you off, sorry,
themselves.
Ty. Just to let you know, in that situation, let's say like they made up the whatever statement, right? Only 2 states in America are required, and that was posted 14th of January. Obviously, if you do more research, you might find more, but off initial research, that's what it's saying.
See, but then that's where your problems are.
But why? Okay, if they have to spend more money on buying police cameras for officers, don't they have less money for actual officers and actual proper training? So do you think the problem lies with what's going on or how the officers are being trained? Because if you train someone to act right, would they need a camera? Or if you train someone decently and then give them a camera, couldn't they? Is that better or worse? Do we put money in the training or put money in the camera?
Well, this is the thing. Everyone, how would I say? Obviously, over years, the police training will change because of how times move forward, and obviously new regulations and new rules that you have to abide by. But to become a police officer, you have to go through police academy. Mm-hmm. So you pass tests and you do things, and they may even, if you're, how would I say? It might not happen, but let's say if you're actively a racist person and you sit down and they're like, do you like black, like, are you racist? And you're like, yeah, if I see a black person on the street, I'm going to stop them.
Would they say that?
They might, no, but I'm saying, let's say if they did, they will sit there and be like, well, you can't be a police officer then because you're going to abuse your power. No one that's a racist in a higher, what's the word? That has power is going to want to admit that they're a racist. I.e., police officers that are racist aren't going to admit, yeah, I'm racist. I've done this because he's black. Like, they'll always have a reason to it. So you can't always judge and be like, oh, that's because he was misproperly trained. He was trained to be a police officer. He was trained to serve and protect, because many police, that's the thing, to serve and protect in America, to serve and protect. That's police, yeah? So they were trained to be police officers. They were trained to help people, to protect people, to, be a part of the community. Like, I know that's my local officer. If I ever need help, he can come check on me. If I ever need, he'll be here, he'll be there. He controls this area. If I call, I know it's to help be part of the community. That's what they're trained to do. So they're not trained to, pick on a certain race. They're not trained to go and pull guns out on a 4-year-old because they took a Barbie doll. They're not trained to, pull a gun out on an unarmed pregnant woman, forgetting
but the
her
problem
color.
I have there is, why are we always using one situation? If we look at the police as a whole, do you think if we keep looking at the 4 situations that happen out of the 6, does that help? Because are we saying that every single police officer or the majority of police officers are doing this? Are we saying it's a problem in the small minority?
It's a problem in the police force.
So how do you fix a disease on a table? You just get rid of it? Because for the disease to grow and the disease to live, it needs a host, an organism. So for these officers to do what they're doing, someone is feeding them, right? So
the police force.
So the police is feeding them. So, but then is that a definition of the whole police force? Because as you said yourself earlier, there are good officers.
Yeah.
So how do you fix this disease or bacteria growing?
This is
when there are good officers.
If you're talking about disease, are you talking about bad officers or racism?
Is there a difference?
Well, because you can have
bad officers and racist officers.
Yeah, because you can have a bad officer that will just, stop anyone just because you're wearing a hood.
Okay.
But then obviously you have racist officers. It depends, because
are those the same diseases, or do we fix both of them, or do we only fix the racist one?
No, but there's a chance you'll always get a bad officer, because a bad officer could be something as a dirty officer. A bad officer doesn't have to just be a racist officer. It could be an officer that works with gang members, an officer that basically just doesn't abide by the law, innit?
So what are we fixing then?
If you're talking as in if you're talking in the sense of fixing bad officers as a disease, then suggestions would be, you know, tighter rules and regulations. Things like you have to have body cams. Obviously, make sure that, you know, when you're actually passing these officers through the academy, that you feel that they will actually abide by their jobs and do what is right. In the sense of racist officers, racism, you can never, ever get rid of racism. There will always be a person who is racist. There will always be, you know, there will always be that, not even particular, there will just always be someone in the world.
Why do you believe that?
Because it's how racism come about. Let's say when you say to people, like, think of, like, I don't know, something that's very racist, they think, you know, slave trade, they think things like, they may think Holocaust.
Holocaust? The Holocaust is racist?
Well, it's a race, isn't it? The Jewish race.
Okay, that's fine. Just confirming.
Yeah. Sorry, I literally just want to touch on that. Obviously, I know you don't mean it by that, but I think people seem to have a misconception that when you talk about racism, it's about your color. It's not. It's about races. Racism and colorism are the same things. They both discrimination and stuff. But racism is something as simple as an English person making fun of a Polish person just because they're Polish. That's racism, because it's two different races.
So being Polish is a race?